provide the random features to access the data, we have few tools that has been added in the Hadoop framework. HBase, Cassandra, CuffDB, Dynamo, and MongoDB. Basically, these are the kinds of database that can be useful or that can be that these are the tools that can be used to process the data that comes under the semi-structured form and can be used to access data in randomly manner. In this session, we will study about the HBase. HBase. What is HBase? Basically, HBase is the open source NoSQL database. NoSQL database, that means HBase have no any specific data model. As per your requirement, you can design your data. Basically, HBase is similar to Google Big Table. In earlier time, what happened? Google implement a new concept to store data or to store daily routine activity in tables, right? So initially it was launched by the name of Bigtable, and after that it was renamed as a big by HBase. HBase basically written in Java and can be used for big data applications, right? It can be processed and it can be useful in real time applications also. The data that has been generated in the real time, right? HBase basically work in distributed column environment and follow the non-relation data management system and basically work on the top of the HDFS system because all data will be stored in HDFS. So HBase have the capability to access data from HBase and process the data. HBase basically use the column-oriented terminology and data will be stored by the row or in a row. Only column family we need to define that is known as table schema and data will be stored in these columns as per according to their column families, right? To perform the write operation, HBase have the features write ahead log. What happen when we are working on any when we are generating data in real time? So what wall will do? Wall will store data temporarily, and after a timeline, it will ship that data to the permanent storage. Like that, in real time, when you fill any online form, when you fill any online form, what happen? Until you will not submit your form, all data has been stored in temporary form. So this is the basically use of wall. Until you will not submit your data to the server or you will not perform the submit button, this data will be reside in the wall. HBase also support fast random access and have the heavy writing competency because HBase basically works on the basis of column families and every column families stores different kinds of data in real time. Difference is a big difference between HBase and NoSQL. Basically, HBase store data in form of columns, and he work with both in by using structured data as well as semi-structured data. So, on the basis of we can say that some specific operations, their schema, their working quality, we can them or we can separate them. You can see HBase can work by on both database. It can be useful to handle whether data is in structured form or whether in structured form. While only RDBMS have the capability and will only the data that is in structured form. That means schema is defined, six schema is defined here, and the schema of the schema will be in form of tables. So this is the basic difference. Second one is HBase have no any schema and just you need to define your column families as per your requirement. While RDBMS have the well structured data, right? He will work with the tables. Tables will contain rows and columns. Every column will be known as attributes and rows will be known as tuples. It can have denormalized data. That means HBase did not enforce it that data should be in normalization form, while RDBMS always store data in normalization form. That means RDBMS use the normalization while HBase did not enforce that. So there is a big difference in HBase and RDBMS. That data, whether it's in form, in any kinds of form, we can store data, right? HBase basically is scalable, and it can be scalable horizontally as per our requirement, while RDBMS table is not scalable. Why? As you have defined your schema at the initial time, you cannot extend your schema. If you want to make any change in the schema, then what you have to do? You need to construct, or you need to define your table again, or you need to define your schema again. So this is the slightly big difference between HBase and RDBMS. Any query on that by anyone, please?
No, sir.
Feature of HBase. Basically, HBase can be scalable only in horizontally manner. Automatic failover. Automatic failover means it's basically use the policy, or we can say that it use the automatic failover, because HBase is the core component of HBase Hadoop component. So it's have the capability in if any failure occurs, then he can manage automatically. Why? Because it's work in the cluster, and in cluster, every nodes is connected in a framework. So if any nodes is not able to work, or is not able to perform data handling operations, then different node can be used, and automatically will use another node. Integration with MapReduce framework, because HBase basically has a capability, and it's designed in Java, and MapReduce also is designed in Java. So it can be work compatibly with the MapReduce also. It does not enforce relationship with your data, because it's already clear. HBase did not use normalization also. HBase has no data structure model, so it also not enforces relationship, right? It can run on cluster of computer and follow the commodity hardware concept. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of commodity hardware? Commodity hardware. Because when you have a study about the Hadoop, then this term was come in the Hadoop characteristics.
I
What is the
think
meaning of commodity hardware?
So these kind of hardwares are easily available, and there are no big losses if even if the hardwares get damaged.
no,
No.
no. I think it's nothing to do with price, but there could be a different, vendor and platform. I think that is mean by the commodity hardware. Am I right?
Partially, you are correct, but just want to explain it a little bit more. Commodity hardware is the kind of hardware, because we have two types of clusters, right? We can define two types of cluster. First one is the homogeneous cluster, and second one is the heterogeneous cluster. Now, what is the meaning of homogeneous and heterogeneous? Basically, homogeneous are the kinds of cluster in which all PCs, all computers have the same hardware and same applications configuration. Then this kinds of group is known as homogeneous cluster. Heterogeneous cluster, where different kinds of hardware and software are working in a single net or in a single cluster, right? So commodity hardware provide the feature that when you are working in a heterogeneous cluster. Heterogeneous cluster means all PCs, all the nodes have different hardware level, different applications. So he will ensure that minimum system specifications will be present in that network. If any system have the higher specifications, higher configurations available and working in the cluster, then HBase never stop work. HBase always support, or this model will be work. Understand what the meaning of commodity hardware? Only minimum specifications should be present in the group. If all the hardware that we have is higher version, then no issue with that application or with that hardware. Our framework will work continually. So that is the meaning of commodity hardware. Francis, clear?
Yes, sir.
what happened? Another example. The H master as well as about the region server also. Zookeeper will enforces that what kinds of operation has to be performed. It should be firstly informed to zookeeper, because until zookeeper will not activate the region server or will not inform to region server, no operation will be executed, right? Basically, three components are the useful components. Already I have explained: master server, region server, and zookeeper. Right? Zookeeper. Already I have explained that zookeeper is the coordinator, or we can say it's the main component that will execute all the required tasks or the all the operations that has been requested by the users in real time, right? And region server are the basically regions that store data in real times on HDFS, right? How HMaster what? Basically, HMaster is used to store data, and he will maintain all the informations about the region. That how many regions exist in my HDFS, right? You can see that under this structure, I have two region server, and every two region server, I have two regions, right? This region server one have two regions again, and again this region server have also two regions. HMaster also enforces to users or client if any updation in the database has to be performed, or any create, delete, or any update operations you have to perform. Firstly, he need to contact with HMaster, and Zookeeper will monitor all the activity that has been performed by the HMaster. Basically, HMaster run on the name node. Why? Because all metadata available with the name node, right? Data node is responsible to store data, and name node is responsible to maintain the metadata, right? Have you heard about the master slave architecture? Master slave architecture,
Yes.
and what is the name node and data node?
So the data node contains the inherent data of the file system,
Okay, and
and the
name
name
node?
node contains the schema of like where the blocks, related blocks, are available in the
Yes,
data
we
node.
can say that metadata about the data. That means characteristics of data, size of data, ownership, what are the access permission on that data, when data was created, right? So all these things will be maintained by the name nodes. Okay, and that's the reason HMaster always works on name node, because all metadata he will check from the name node, right? Suppose user want to make change in the schema, right? Then he need to make the request from the HMaster. HMaster will request to name node or will forward to name node. Then the change will be made into the schema, right? They are the some basically responsibility that comes under the region server. Basically, region server is responsible to assign the regions to any data blocks, to check the load balancing and recovery, because in cluster data stored on different nodes in different blocks. So might be possible that one node may be overload and one node there is no load. So at that place, what we will do, we need to maintain the recovery as well as load balancing also, so that data should be stored in a cluster on all nodes in well-distributed manner and well-functional manner, right? Monitor all region server instances in the HPC server, because all region servers are the basically regions or are the data blocks that is stored into the cluster, right? So he has to ensure that all clusters and all region servers in the cluster should be work properly. If any issue with any region server, then report immediately to zookeeper. Zookeeper will make check and what kind of features he required, or what kinds of recovery options or any options he required, he will take the decision. Suppose our technical things, our region server has been crashed, node has been crashed. So in that terms, we require recovery, or we need to uh, create a replication of data. So it will be decided by the zookeeper. There are some admin functions also. When any client have to make a change in any schema, right? Then he has to talk with Xmaster. But there is a condition. Suppose a user has to work only on data, then he can bypass Xmaster. There is one condition. Why? Because all data is stored into the data node, and he did not want to make change in any schema. So what happened? He can bypass to, or he can, we can say that, ignore to the H master, right? Because there is no change in the schema definition, so it can be used directly data nodes to perform their specification or to their specific operation by using the zookeeper, right? So this is the only condition when H master can be bypassed or H master can be ignored. Otherwise, if you want to add any column family, modify any column family, or you want to update in schema definition of the table, then you have to make permissions with HMaster, because HMaster works on the name node, and all name node contains the metadata, right? So that's the main thing. And region, how will be assigned, on which region, which data will block, and which region will be moved to which rack. So these all are the responsibility of as of region servers under HPS. You can say that already these things I have explained. Basically, table is splitted according to row key, and all rows will be splitted from start to end. So that rows are known as regions, and these regions will be stored in a specific area. A supervisor will be there, that is known as region server, right? Each region can manage 1000 regions at a one time. This is the default uh, handling capability of a region server. It can be increased by making the change in the configuration of HBase module, right? He will be responsible to work or manage data that is present in distributed environment, and always region server run on data nodes, not on the name nodes. Why? Because region servers maintains the data, and regions actual data. So all data always stored in the data node. So region servers also on data. These are the few things that comes in real time. HMaster can be used for support to hosting and managing any regions, splitting regions automatically when we have a tables, and that tables have the suppose there is a limit set that if a table have the row 1000 row, then table will split automatically and data will be stored into the HDFS, and new row will be started. So at that time he will make the things automatically, and will use the algorithm to split the regions and store the data. Will handle all the read and write requests and communicate with the client directly. That means client management activity also will be performed by the HMaster. So these all are the real-time operations that has been maintained and has been performed by the HMasters under HBase. Basically, region server use four component. When we are performing wall, that means when we are performing write operation, then we will use wall. Now, what is the meaning of wall? Basically, wall is an activity, or we can say that wall is a concept. You can see here. Suppose you are creating data, right? So that means you are making change in your database. So what happened? Wall will store this data temporarily, and according to their log, data will be stored in that log. As data has been maintained by in log wall after a fifth times or after a time interval, suppose 1 hour, you have set down here that after every 5 minutes data will be stored in the regions, because you can understand in web environment what happened. Data never stored directly to the permanent store. Firstly, it is stored into the intermediate store, and after intermediate storage, it go to the permanent storage. So to perform the write operation under HBase, we use the wall. And what the basic concept behind wall? Wall basically store the data for a time period. As time period over, he will transfer this data to the permanent storage. That means on the HDFS data node. So it is useful when we are performing write operation on large database, and many users are performing write operation on different database. So he will store all the updates on user data and will store into the permanent storage, right? So this is the basic use of wall. Concept clear? What's the meaning of wall? Any query about that by anyone? Any query by anyone, please?
Sir, can you please repeat again?
Yeah, a wall. Basically, wall is that what happens when you are performing any write operation. You can see in real time there are number of applications on which you can submit your record. Suppose any vacancy has been opened by the government, right? Suppose a vacancy has been opened by the government through the website. So what happened? Government have opened the portal, right? And this portal is available for all at global level. Might be possible number of candidates are working, or number of candidates are filling forms by using that portal. So you can see when you are filling forms, then there is a structures available of form that you have to submit your personal detail, you have to fill your educational detail, you have to upload educational qualification. Might be 3 or 4 sections may be available in the application form. So when you fill the form and you have completed the section 1, then you save that data, or you save this data or this data sections temporary, and you proceed to next section. So can you tell me whether this data will be stored to permanent database, or will store into the temporary storage structure? Basically, web server use temporary storage structure until user will not play the submit button. Data will be available in store. Once user has completed all the steps and press the submit button, your all data will be transferred, or will be uh, forward to the permanent store. So here what wall is doing? Wall is basically doing a intermediate storage task here, that when number of are trying to update or trying to insert new record in a common table or in a common database. So at that time, it's very important that all data should be updated correctly against individual object, against individual candidate, against individual applicant. Right? So at that same time, it is not possible. So what it used? It used the wall concept, and according to their logs timeline activity, he will move this data after a few minutes into their storage, permanent storage structure. Understand? Now it's clear. What is the meaning of wall?
Yes, sir.
Any question by anyone, please, about the wall? Second one is the block cache. Basically, as wall is available while we are performing read operation, block cache is also a memory that will be available while we are performing read operation, right? Because when we perform the read operation, that might be possible. Suppose we have opened a file, we have just read it, and we did not close the file, and we minimize that file. So at that time, this file is not used by the user, but still this file is available in the memory, right? So block cache, what it will do, it will active or it will arrange that file who are only used by the users in real time. All the files that are available but not used by the user, it will not be opened in front of user. That is the work of block cache. Mem store, basically mem store is used to perform write operation in cache, and it use the uh, it used by the HDFS, right? As data stored in the wall, after wall data will go into the memory store, and memory store will store data into HDFS file or in HF file. Basically, these files are known as Hadoop distributed files, right? So wall basically store data. After that, after wall data will go into the mem store, and after mem store data will store to the permanently in H files. So this is the structures, or this is the components of region servers that we use in real time to store data. Any doubt by anyone? Any query? Any query by anyone?
Sir.
HBase Zookeeper. As I have already tell you that Zookeeper is the basic, or we can that is the main component, and Zookeeper will contains all the informations and will monitor HMaster as well as region servers. When any session will started, it will be started under Zookeeper, right? Any user have to perform any task, then under Zookeeper task will be started or task will be completed, right? Zookeeper basically work on the basis of server and nodes that works under a cluster. And Zookeeper always will check whether any nodes is not in failure condition, or all regions are working properly, or any health status of the clusters, or we can say that working capability of the cluster. Emperor nodes. Basically, these are the nodes who are basically some nodes, because HDFS all data is available, but there may be possible that only two blocks data are using. No blocks data are using to perform any operation. So at that time, Ampere node will only participate, or the node that is active at the time. These nodes are known as femoral node, right? And femoral node only participate when session is going on. As session will completed, all node will be released, right? Like that, suppose I am accessing a website. I am accessing any database, and node 1 and node 2 I am using to perform any execution. There are 5 nodes available in my cluster, but for performing a session, only this total there are 4 nodes, but to perform the operation, I am using only 1 and 3. So because these are two nodes that are using to perform any operation, these nodes are participating in operation. So only 1 and 3 are the femoral node, right? So nodes who are actively working to perform any task in a session, that these are nodes are not femoral. Understand what the meaning of femoral node? Concept is clear. What is the meaning of femoral node?
Yes.
Any doubt? Any doubt by anyone on this question?
No.
Zookeeper also use a consistency protocol to ensure the consistency of distributed state. Basically, consistency protocol is required because when number of concurrent users are working on a database, then might be possible someone one is trying to perform write operation, someone is trying to perform read operation, someone is trying to update operation. So concurrency consistency protocol will ensure that until a operation will not completed, another operation cannot be performed on the same database. He will use the log protocol, right? Log protocol. If any user is performing read operation, then write operation cannot be performed on that database until he will not complete the data. He will not complete the read operation. So this is the consistency protocol to ensure the consistency. He will maintain the consistency. That means incomplete information will not be shared to the user. Active H masters and zookeeper basically coordinate with the heartbeats. Heartbeat is a concept. In every 3 minutes, H master will send say heartbeats to zookeeper that indicate that every region server is working properly. Suppose if 3 minutes is over and no signal has been sent by the H master to zookeeper, then in that condition, zookeeper will check that what is the reason why H master is not contacting about that region server, right? He will wait for next 7 minutes, and after 7 minutes, if he did not get any response, he will declare that region server as a dead region server, and new region server will be created or according to the requirement of uh, system that we have set in replication factor, right? You can see this is the basically how the components are working together. This is the H masters. These are the data nodes. Under data node, these are the region servers. And under regions, data has been stored. Now you can see up. This is the heartbeat. After every 30 seconds, heartbeat is sent to zookeeper. If heartbeat is not sent by the zookeeper by the data node to zookeeper, then it will be considered that this data node is not available. Means this region server is not actively available. So it will be checked whether recovery is required or whether we require any new replications, right? So this is the basic structures how data node H master work with the zookeeper in distributed environment, and what is the main concept of heartbeat. You can see that both region server are have been sending heartbeat here. Region data node 1 also sends the heartbeat, and region 2 also sends the heartbeat to zookeeper, and zookeeper will maintain all the things properly in real time. Working process of zookeeper. Basically, zookeeper work on two type of H master: active H master and inactive H master. Basically, any query by anyone? Any query by anyone? Please let me know any query on this, on heartbeat or zookeeper or region or data node. Zookeeper use two type of H master. First H master is the active H master, and second master is the inactive H master. Basically, active H master is the master who work in real timely and who maintains all the activity in real time. What happens? Suppose active master has been crashed due to some regions or not working properly, then inactive H master will assist to H master and will perform monitor all the tasks as the H master for a specific time of period, because we cannot say that if our active H master is not working, our work will not be completed. So active H master and inactive H master, two are the components, and inactive H master will be enabled while active H master is not in working state due to any circumstance, due to hardware failure, due to technical failure, due to application failure, right? HBase meter table. Basically, meter table is a special table, or we can say that is the table that contains the metadata about the data. How data is stored in that table? How many tables? How many column families are in the tables? What every cells, every columns contains data? How many reports or how many we can say that regions are available in that table? What are the permissions on that table? How many regions we have used? Regions ID, from where region started. So all these things will be maintained by the HBase meter. So these are the three basically structure, or we can say three components that work under the zookeeper. These are some basic table parameters. Tables already I have explained are used to store data in HBase format. Row key basically is a unique key that will be used to search a record in a unique manner. Column families basically are the attribute, and column family are the combinations of the columns, or we can a collection of columns that represents different attributes. Column qualifiers are name of columns, or we can say that name of header under column families. Cells is the entity will use to store data, and timestamp. Basically, timestamp is a combination of and time that is used by the HBase in a table to store data. Because HBase basically work on the basis of log-based event. So, what is the meaning of log? Log means data will be stored, and on which time which data has been updated by which user, it will be stored by using their date and time. So that is the timestamp activity of table. Difference between HBase and HDFS. Basically, HDFS is Java-based file system and is used for the storing large data set, while HBase is the Java-based NoSQL database. HDFS has the rigid architecture that does not allow change. Why? Because HDFS is the data storage architecture. It's not any programming or any, we can say, logical view. It's a physical structure. So you have to use as per the manufacturing standard. Why? Under HBase, you can make change any in table, right? Why? Because column families depend on the users. How many columns you want to add, you can. How many column family you want to remove, you can. HDFS basically is useful where you can perform write once and read many times. That means you store your data in HDFS one time, and every time you want to perform many read operations. Suppose you have stored data today, after 5 years you can access that data. Many times you can read data in real time. HBase is basically used to perform randomly read and write both for both operations. Why? Because under HBase, data will be processed and data will be created. So it can be useful for both operations. You can perform write operation as well. You can perform read operation. Write operation, it may be updation of record, it may be deletion of record. While read operation to get or to mine the records that available in our data table. How HBase perform the read operation? You can see every time when HBase will perform the read operations, he need to contact with the region server. Region server will assign the region name, and according to that region name, client will request, regions will be assigned to them. According to that region, he will contact to the Hadoop distributed files, right? And basically data stored in blocks form, and size of smaller unity is 64 KB. That means this is the index size or the block size where data can be stored, right? So H file basically are the blocks where data are stored under HDFS, and this block will be accessed to perform any operations, right? Already explained how HBase perform write operation by using the wall. Advantage of HBase, basically HBase can have the capability to work with denormalized data. That means there is no necessity that the data should be in normalization form. As data you have, you can store as per your requirement. HBase has the capability that split the table automatically as per the requirement. Strong consistency model. That means when you are performing write operation, then there will be no confliction. Why? Because wall is here, and according to their log event, according to their log, data will be stored, data will be read, or data will be write. Right? It scales automatically while data grow large in the tables, region will split automatically. Right? Suppose we have defined that as 500 rows in the tables, then table should be split. So as you will reach to the 500 in the tables, he will split the table automatically and will store this data into HDFS. Good in recovery because ahead log is there, and until you have not moved data to permanent storage, he will use write ahead log, right? So suppose if data was not moved to permanent storage and any failure occurs, then from wall data can be recovered. Why? Because data has been stored in the wall. Integrated with Hadoop, already HPC is the top brand and already integrated with Hadoop, so it's more compatible on the cloud platform to perform or to process the non-structured data. No schema and no data model, so it's very easy to implement in real time. Just you need to define your column family, and under column family, your column name. He can perform random read and write operations also, and at any row key, any column family, you can add any data or you can update directly by using the row key. HBase also support data replications in the cluster because HBase is integrated with Hadoop. So it's also support the data replication because all data is stored in the HDFS. So because HDFS has the features that data will be stored with the replication factor 3. So all data will be in replication mode. Random access basically feature use internal hash table to store data in HDFS that can be useful to search file in real time because HBase is using here data in row by using the row key, and every column families have different columns. So every column data or every row data can be considered as a we can say sales data. So according to their row key and according to their column families, we can access data from the table. That's the reason HBase, even a non-structured data, but is processing data in real time in random manner. This advantage of HBase, a single point of failure is that if H master goes down, then whole complete cluster will be failed and task will not be performed. Why? Because HBase is maintaining all the activity, all the events that has been performed by the user. And if H master is not working or crashed to some reason, so wall cluster will be damaged, wall cluster will be destroyed, and we need to reconfigure our cluster again. Cannot perform any function like we can say that in SQL form that comes under the structure form. It has no any support for the transaction as well as no any query optimizer. And I have already explained that it can work only low latency operation. That means insert, update operations can be easily performed. But if you want to perform join, but if you want to perform other operations that comes under SQL not be possible because it did not support because data is not in structured form. So if data is not in structured form, so how query will be processed? How query will be optimized? So that's the big disadvantage. Business continuity, because write ahead log work very slow. You can see that when number of users are working, then firstly data will be stored into wall. After a given time period, data will be moved to transfer to the permanent storage. So might be possible when we have large data and a number of users are working on same data at same time. So if there is a time delay of 1 second, that might be possible in 1 second. 50,000 query has been raised by the users. So it will work very slow. And there will be a situation that when workload is exceed, then uh, our wall can be crashed. It can be like as a out of index error. So at that time, we at terms of business continuity, it's playing a critical role here. Joining and normalization operation is not possible, as I have already explained, and very difficult to store binary data. Data that is generated by the machine not be possible to read or process under this format because it's only understand the things that we have defined under parameters. Now, it's a real-time example how we are using Facebook, right? So you can see that because Facebook is using the applications of ACE to maintaining and processing data. Suppose there is a user. This user might be this is the single user because in real time there are millions of users. But I'm just taking example. So how Facebook use uh, HBase to store the user's data in real time. Suppose this is the table that have been defined by the HBase. User account type is personal or business. Type of contents posted posted for public or private, timestamp, violating community standard, and last login time of account. This is some common fields that have been maintained by the Facebook to analyze that how many users are connecting and what is their statics. Suppose a user Rahul 3 at the rate FB have their personal account and he have posted contents, image plus text in public manner and timestamp is 20 August 2020 and that is the time. So he will check that whether this contents is not violating the community standard. If no, it's assigning no and last login activity of time of account. Suppose last time he had access 8:45 he have started access and 5:30 he have closed his account. Right now, second thing, another second user is there. He have also using Facebook, but he has a business account and he's using his account for promoting any kinds of business, like and he's making all the contents publicly for promotion. Timestamp also maintaining here, violating community standard and last login activity. Okay. Suppose there is a third user, Tarun at the rate FB. He has a personal account. He have posted contents, text plus video in public manner, and that post was identified that that post was violating the community standard. Now, how Facebook will take the actions, how will analyze these kinds of illegal activities or wrong posts that has been posted on the social media. So what happened? This will be indicated. A new tables will be maintained here, and according to that, what is his user account? Which type of account is that? So user account is Tarun at the FB. Account type is personal. Which type of content is he has based? So category will be defined. EJ hatred content. Action required. Yes. Account suspended. So it may be dependent what kinds of options adopting by the particular social media. In Facebook, there are number of options available. Let's suppose user is sharing any wrong contents, any fake news, any nudity, or any content that is not as per the community standard, account can be blocked, account can be suspended, or any legal action may be taken. So in this example, I have explained both things. Suppose his account is suspended, but still that was not sufficient. After 2 weeks, suppose he had done this activity again. So after second interval, his account will be blocked. And what was the reason? Remarks will be given there, violating community standard. So you can see now there are different kinds of columns and their column families and their real-time tasks that has been maintaining by against a user. So these kinds of analysis is useful when we have using data, we are using applications that are supporting various kinds of data. You can see text can be posted, video can be posted, audio can be posted. That means data is in form of semi-structured form or in no SQL form, right? So now this no SQL form data easily can be accessed, easily can be analyzed, and easily can be processed, and easily decision can be made. So this is the real-time example of HBase that has been used by the Xbooks by the Facebook in real time. Any query by anyone on this example or any query related to HBase about this session?
No, sir, got it.
Got it? So this was all about the HBase. Actually, this was the theoretical session. We have a separate practical of HBase, right? So what I'm doing, uh, because its time is 4 or 20 already, I'm closing session here. If you have any concern or have any question, you can ask me, right? Just I'm going to conclude the session that I have covered in this particular session. Tomorrow will be the practical session. So requesting to you all, whether you have installed the Cloudera setup. All of you have configured the Cloudera.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So I
Yes,
will
sir.
share you the commands of HBase so that you can go through that. And tomorrow it will be easy for all us, right? It will work in fastly manner. So today I have discussed with you HBase, why HBase was required, how semi-structured data will be processed in real-time environment, what were the limitations, and how Hadoop was we can say that restrict that if data is comes in random manner, how we will access that data. So to overcome these issues, we are using HBase. HBase basically is written in Java and can be useful in to store large data. HBase is a column-oriented data and it have no any fixed data model, or we can say that schema structure, and it can store data whether it's normalization form or it's in denormalization form, right? Normalization form, that means data redundancy is not allowed in RDBMS, while under HBase redundancy, that means data repetition is allowed, right? HBase features was there horizontally scalable, automatic failover, and integration with MapReduce framework and history timelines. What was the existence or presence in Hadoop framework? How HBase was working? Structures of tables, how tables store the data, and what are the column families? Basic examples are the HBase tables that we have used. After that, a real-time structures of HBase table. How HMaster is responsible or to control all the events under Zookeeper. What is Zookeeper? How regions are split? Functions of region servers. How tables maintains. How table will be split. What are the minimum limits of the region servers? Right? HMaster region servers components, a wall, block store, H files, why HBase useful, how components work together, active HMaster and inactive HMaster, What are the basic things used in the HBase tables? Column qualifiers, timestamps, difference between HDFS and HBase, HBase read and write operations, advantages and disadvantages of HBase, and real-time use of HBase in corporate scenario. And Facebook is a very popular social media, and we can say that it's using in real time to analyze or to make the decisions about any post, about any contents, or about any users to maintain study. Right? So that was the all about for today's session. Now, if you still you have any query, you can ask me, please.
Sir, could you share this PDF on our group?
Yes, yes, definitely. I will share you after few minutes. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah, please do then. Please.
So expecting today's session was demonstrated in front of you. It was usable for you and understandable by you in terms of HBase. Okay. And also it's linked up with the real-time scenario also that how useful no, semi-structured data has been handled under HBase terminology. Tomorrow we will make a practical session. So I will share both HBase commands also as well as this PPT. Okay. Thank you very much
Yes, sir.
to join this session. Tomorrow we will meet on same time. And requesting to you all, please, if you have any concern while a class is going on and you are not able to connect, so try to reconnect again because sometimes might be happen due to internet connection or due to some technical issue you are not able to connect. Okay, so please don't be panic. I will wait for you. Don't worry about that. That I will skip the things. I will wait. If any issue that, then I will try to resolve. Then class will be started. Okay?
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, yes, please.
Sir, I'm unable to give my attendance. There is no chat box option for me.
Okay. Just do one thing. You can put in the chat box.
Sir, there is no chat box option for me.
Chat box is there. There's no chat box there. What's your name? Yeah, you can tell me.
Sir,
I can note down.
Rajit San.
Okay. Rojit. Okay. Thank you. Got it. Please put your attendance so that I can I can mark the attendance. I think chat is available. Chat option is available for someone. If you are not able, you can just tell me. I will mark your attendance. Okay. Yeah, Rajniti, I have already marked your attendance. Don't worry.